Well, please welcome Demetries Grimes, retired Navy commander and Republican candidate for Congress in Hillsborough and Polk counties. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Well, Craig, it's great to be here with you today.
So you ran for Congress once before in 2018 in South Florida and as a Democrat. Why as a Democrat and why South Florida?
Well, so actually I had just come out of the military, and there was a court case that changed the district overnight. It went to a D+16, and I was actually recruited by conservatives to take a stand on opposition turf, and that's what I did.
Conservatives, you were running as a Democrat, though, right?
Well, I ran as a Democrat, but I've always been a conservative. I'm a lifelong Republican.
So you didn't transform your political identity, your core values, your views on the issues are still pretty much the same?
So again, I've always been a constitutional conservative, and what I did at that time was to take a stand on opposition turf because there were, 4 progressive left-wing candidates who were running, and obviously I had to swallow some talking points. But what happened from that run is it's made me a bolder conservative.
How would you evaluate the leadership of former President Trump on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd say he's a 10. I mean,
Made you proud?
I mean, look, he's the bold conservative that America needed.
You specifically noted President Trump's disdain for the rule of law. In 2018, you referenced embracing dictators, pushing away allies, hostility toward immigrants, separation of families, what you called a stain on the country.
And look, since then, obviously, I was running in a primary then.
Did you hold those views at that time?
And no, and I've
well,
actually.
You didn't hold the views that you espoused?
So what I'm telling you is I've retracted all those statements, I mean, for years. I mean, that's history.
Did you believe them at the time?
And so obviously at the time I came from a world where I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. There's a Greek word, philotimo, which is the love of honor and all things honorable, and that's the code that I've always operated by.
Did you believe the things that you were saying at that time, or were you just saying it to try to win a Democratic primary?
So what I'm telling you is I was born and raised America first, and I served 3 combat tours before President Trump ever uttered the words America first. So I embrace his policies, and we might have a difference of opinion in how we.
Well, when you reference a disdain for the rule of law, that's a pretty big difference. Did you believe that when you said it, and do you believe it today?
No, I do not believe that today, and I've retracted all those statements. And I mean, America needs Donald Trump, to tell you the truth. And right now, this raid on Mar-a-Lago that happened should be a wake-up call to everybody that we're seeing things happening in our country that we never imagined being possible. And I mean, from the open borders to relinquishing our energy independence.
In 2018, you said that you supported a carbon tax.
I need you to move. I need you to move you from 2018. It's 2022 right now.
Well, 4 years is not a great lapse of time. Do you still support a carbon tax?
No,
You're on record for supporting. Okay, what drove that change?
Well, because I've become a lot more educated on energy and energy security issues, and I've actually spoken quite a bit on the energy security issues.
You also called for what you called Medicare for all, or health care for all, and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines 4 years ago. Do you hold those views?
No, I do not, and I've retracted all those. I'm actually rated NRA A, and I'm a constitutional conservative. And I've seen and I understand the radical left's policy of incrementalism to achieve a goal and then continue to use that as a precedent to achieve their further goals. And I've said this multiple times, there's not a single elected or appointed official or government employee who has the authority to infringe on any American's individual rights. And that's where I stand. This is 2022. And I've written extensively about that for years.
But at the start of our interview, you said that you had not transformed your political identity, that your views, your values, your priorities, your stand on the issues are pretty much the same.
I said as a conservative. 4 years ago, I was maybe a little bit Joe Manchin-ish, but look where he is right now. He's the only one left.
You're also calling for an end to birthright citizenship for illegals.
Yes.
Would that not impede on the 14th Amendment, and if so, how do you resolve that?
Well, that's a problem. That's something that we're going to have a serious discussion about, because right now, Secretary Mayorkas, I mean, he's violating at least 4 or 5 U.S. legal codes, and with our open borders and the U.S. tax dollars being used to move illegals around our country, the United States is the world's largest state sponsor of human trafficking and organized crime, and so it's not enough to build the wall and to implement measures to prevent visa overstays and all these other issues that are tied. We have to disincentivize the illegal migration that's taking place. Yes, we're a nation of immigrants. I'm the son of an immigrant. My mother came here as an immigrant the legal way. My father, I was born a month after he deployed to Vietnam. It took her 6 years to become an American citizen, but she went through the process.
Okay, let's bring it back to the 14th Amendment, because the question was, does that not impede on the 14th Amendment, which does state all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
Right, and you know, our Constitution, our founding fathers were brilliant enough to implement measures to ensure that any changes to the Constitution are going to represent the will of the people, and that's the process that we'll have to comply with.
So you think the 14th Amendment needs to be removed?
Well, if the American people agree and we go through that process and that happens, I'm a firm advocate of it. I mean, I think right now I see that as the only solution to disincentivize this massive wave of illegal immigration that's going on.
Repealing the 14th Amendment.
And repealing the 14th Amendment.
Demetries Grimes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Great to be here.